Hi everybody, welcome to another Taubmans live colour advice session. My name's Fiona, I'm the Taubmans colour specialist, and we are here tonight to talk all things colour. And we're also here to talk about any projects that you're embarking on. We can certainly assist you with those. And also we are here to talk about our wonderful portfolio of products that we have available to protect and beautify your space. So if you are joining us for the very first time this evening, I'll quickly run through how our sessions work. So for the next half an hour, I will be on screen to answer all of your questions. And while I'm on screen, please use it as an opportunity to put any questions that you do have into our feed. And I will do my best to answer them for you. If you do have any images, etc., that you're wanting to have me have a look at and you're wanting to upload, please wait until I finish streaming, because unfortunately, while I'm in front of the camera, you're unable to upload any images. So after half an hour, I'll be away from the camera, but still sitting here to answer any further questions that we do have. And then that's an opportunity for you to pop any images that you do have into the feed. So that's kind of how the sessions work. Look, tonight is all about frequently asked questions. So what we do is we focus on questions that we are being asked a lot. And we certainly look at all of our social media channels and we collate the information that way. So I've got quite a few, but I am going to start with the first question that was uploaded into our event, and it has come from Krista. So thank you very much, Krista. Thank you for joining our session. Now you have asked, I'm just about to completely paint my house top to bottom, so need some colour advice. So if you can come back to me, please, Krista, and let me know whether you're wanting some advice for interior colours or exterior colours, or perhaps both. And then sort of give me a little bit more information about the style of your home, etc. I would be more than happy to assist you with some colour schemes. So I look forward to you popping some information to the feed if you can for us. Thank you. Okay, so as I said, tonight's session is all about frequently asked questions. And look, it's no surprise that we discuss whites pretty much every week. And a question that has come to light and that we are being asked quite a lot lately is, I'm going to read it. How many coats of colour do I need to apply to achieve the white I am wanting? So that's a really good question. So generally the way our products work, they are a 2-coat system. So, and that's, you know, if you're painting doors and trims, if you're painting interior walls, if you like, 2 coats. However, if you have brand new gyprock, we always suggest that you use a primer sealer undercoat, so something like Taubmans 3-in-1 first, and then do two top coats, whether it be a water-based enamel for your doors and trims, or something like Taubmans Endure for your broad wall. So that is what is needed to achieve a perfect finish. Okay, so the next question, what's the trend for painting our bathroom? We have noticed that bathrooms are fast becoming spaces to embrace colouring. That's a really good question. And you know what, it is very true. You know, a bathroom is no longer a space that is typically white, although white is synonymous with cleanliness, if you like. We're certainly finding that people are using bathrooms as a place or a space to really use a lot of colour, sort of let their inner personality shine, if you like. And we're starting to see there certainly is a trend happening with beautiful pinks being embraced and used within these spaces. And I certainly, I do love using pink in a bathroom. I think it looks fantastic. And I think, you know, if you're looking and you're starting your journey to paint a bathroom, perhaps I would suggest go and find the tile that you're going to use. And obviously selecting your tile is a really good place to start, and from that you can then build a colour scheme. So for example, if you're using a beautiful white tile that perhaps has a little bit of a soft sage green or something like that, using pink to contrast just sings and it looks fantastic. What I would also make mention is, you know, if you're going to do something like that, you know, the secret to achieving the perfect space is to rely on the principles of design, and one of them being repetition. So to have that cohesive space, using colour and then having repetition happening. And by that I mean, you know, you may have a beautiful pink that you're using on the walls, And as I was just mentioning before, a beautiful white tile that perhaps has a little bit of green going through it, well, then you're going to want to replicate the colour in something like perhaps your towels or your accessories, being, you know, like your soap pumps and your rubbish tins and things like that, just to keep that theme happening. And that's what creates a beautiful cohesive space. Okay, and for pinks, you're not sure where to start, one of the best places you can start is on our website. So it's www.taubmans.com.au, and I'm quickly going to take you there. So I'm going to take you to my laptop and I will pop myself in the corner. Fantastic, it has worked. So as I said, www.taubmans.com.au, and this is a great space to begin your colour journey because we've made it very, very user-friendly. So what you do is, as you can see, you can hover across the different menus here. And I think the main two that you'll find of interest are certainly products. And again, all of our products are grouped by project, if you like. And then your colours. So let's select paint colours. And what I really, truly love about this is the fact that, as you can see, all of the colours are grouped by family, which makes it very easy when you're starting that journey. So I've been talking about beautiful pinks, so we could perhaps have a look at the pinks and reds. And it will give you the most popular pink and red colours along the top. And then you can sort of just scroll your way down if you like, and you can see some of the beautiful tones that are available. Going into some of these, I think perhaps, let me just see if I can find a beautiful dusty sort of pink. We might go up a little bit more. And again, we're looking at a screen, so the colour's going to look slightly different depending on how you're viewing our session. But even looking at these sorts of tones here, like your bed of roses, for example, or even the really rose, can look fantastic teamed with a beautiful sage style green. They just sing together. They work really, really well. So this is a great place to start. Okay, the next question. Okay, so I am going to paint the exterior of my home over Christmas. What do I need to do? I'm new to this, but want to make sure I do it right. And what is a good white? I have render and I'm coastal. Okay, fantastic. I think we'll find leading up to or over the Christmas period, this is when people embrace being on holidays and certainly use it as a great opportunity to complete some paint projects. And certainly a fantastic time to be looking at painting the exterior of your home. So the first thing that you're going to need to do is to make sure that, number one, your paint is sound. If you've got any flaky paint or anything like that, you need to get the surface to a stable surface, because if you're going to paint straight over paint, for example, that is flaking or peeling, the paint's only going to stick to that, and it's going to let's say delaminate or come off with those areas that are flaking and peeling. So first thing, get your area back to a sound or stable surface. The next thing that you're going to want to do is to wash it down with perhaps something like a sugar soap area, making sure that the area is really clean. And then you're going to want to remove any mold, and there is a fantastic product out there called Mold Action, which will do that for you. And for anybody that has watched these sessions before, Mold Action it has to be one of my favorite preparation products. And the way it works is, so it's biodegradable. My first experience, when I opened the lid, I expected to be sort of blown away with some fumes that may have smelled like bleach or something. However, there's nothing to it. So it's biodegradable. I believe it was originally designed or created for the Singapore market, where they have high humidity, which obviously leads to mold. And so it's a matter of spraying it onto the surface, leaving it for 24 hours. And what it will do is it will kill the mold spores. So when you see mold, you're basically seeing that you're seeing a mold flower or mold bloom. So the spore itself is flowering. And so if you use perhaps like a bleach solution and things like that, you're wiping the surface and you're removing the mold, but you're not actually removing the spore. So by using Mold Action, it actually gets down into the spore and eradicates further mold, kills that spore. So that's what I would recommend. And then for your product, you're going to want to use Taubmans All Weather. I'll go back to our website and I can show you. Where are we here? Fantastic. Oops, let's go back to the laptop. It might help. Pop myself back in the corner. Okay, so I'm back here where we ended, which is looking at colours. But if we have a look at products and we go down to exterior products, here we are. We can see here Taubmans All Weather. So I'll click on that. It is a fantastic product, and as the label says, it is all weather. So it's been designed for Australian conditions, whether you live in Tasmania or whether you live in far north Queensland where it's really warm. It's suitable. It's what they call like a thermoplastic. It's designed to expand and contract. It has our advanced NanoGuard technology. So when we use that on the exterior, basically it becomes dirt shedding technology. So any dirt that sits on the surface of your paint with a hose down or a good rain, it's just going to wash away, because it's not only UV that will compromise the exterior coating. It is also your dirt, etc., especially being exposed to the elements. So that's something really, really important. It's a fantastic product. As I said, it's designed for the Australian conditions, and it comes in a range of sheen levels. So if you're perhaps, as you said, you're using, or you're wanting to paint render, so it is available in a matte finish. It's also available in a semi-gloss finish and also a gloss finish. So it covers all bases, and also low sheen. So I would direct you towards that. And as for white, I'm going to come back on screen. So when we are talking about white, and I talk about this quite a lot. So a white for the exterior, you want to be non-glary. And given that you're coastal, so I'm presuming, you're obviously going to receive a lot of natural sunlight, and so you do not want to be going outside for that morning cup of tea and having to put your sunglasses on, because the white that you have just doesn't cut it. So there is a fantastic way to help you select the white, and what I suggest you do is all of our colours have what's called an LRV, which is our light reflectance value. So, and basically it's letting you know it's on a scale of 0 being black and 100 being white. So the higher the number, the lighter the colour. So if you are starting to look at colours and particular whites, I would suggest you look at anywhere from around about 67 to around about 80, and that's going to give you a white that has a little bit of substance, so that when it is put outside and exposed to full sun, if you like, it's not going to be too glary. Because when you use whites on an exterior application, and I like to use the terminology that when a white is in full sun, it will bleach out. So as in the undertone or the colour itself becomes a lot lighter. So you need something that has a bit of a substance. So start looking at the LRVs. And then the other thing that I highly recommend when we're talking about using any colour, but in particular whites for exteriors, is to sample pot your white. Now, the best way to do this is to get yourself a piece of cardboard that is at least 1 metre by 1 metre square, and then brush out 3 coats of the colour that you're, sort of deliberating over, if you like, and then put your piece of cardboard outside in full sun and have a look at how the white plays out within that environment. And then also move the piece of cardboard into an area where you're not getting a lot of sun, so that you can see how it's going to look. That's the best advice that I can give you. And for whites, there are some beautiful whites out there. And being that you're coastal, I would recommend having a look at, and I'm going to just reel off a couple. And even, where are we? So let me just, obviously, I guess one of the most popular whites for exterior is your Colorbond Surf Mist. That certainly is a fantastic white. And I think that has an LRV of around about 67. So it's fantastic, and it certainly can withstand full sun, areas where you do not get a lot of sun, and you're not going to find that it is too glary. So that's certainly one colour that I would suggest. Looking at other whites and neutrals, if you like. for coastal. There's a beautiful white that is called platinum. That's certainly a colour that I would look to view. And the LRV sitting on that is 70, so we know that that's going to work. And you can see that here. That's the tone there. Another fantastic white. I should be able to find this. I look at this all the time. I think it's because I'm live. That's the beauty of being live and nothing pre-prepared. So there are some, here we go. Okay, this is another blade that I quite favour when we're talking about using whites and going into soft neutrals for exterior. So if you were to look at grey matter, and then the one below it is called Lunar Rock. Now you're looking at those and you're probably thinking, wow, they don't look white, but what you have to understand is the minute that you brush that out and sample it and then pop it outside in full sun, you will see how the colour definitely changes. I mean, we're looking at the colour in my home office here under a lot of lights, so it's not going to be as true as what it is. And that is the other thing. If you are looking at exterior colours, view them outside. And if you're looking at interior colours, view them inside. I think that's really, really important. Okay, so I have another question here from Sarah. Thank you very much, Sarah, for joining us tonight. Hi Fiona, what is your recommendation for the best white for exterior trimmings to complement Salinger cladding, please? Okay, so let me just see if I can find Salinger. Okay. I wonder I can't find it. Back to front. Where are we? Page 26. Beautiful. Okay. Ah, lovely. Okay, so here we go, everybody. So this is, there we go, the third one down there is Salinger. So a beautiful white to offset that for exterior trimmings. All right, so you could use for trims, and it's going to be lovely, clean and bright. I certainly wouldn't recommend using this colour for a full outside broad wall paint. I think you'd find it extremely glary, but you can see it here. It's called Miss Universe, and that's sitting up against Salinger, and they just sit extremely well together. So that would be my first recommendation. Let me see as well, because it's got that grey undertone, it's kind of nice to have a, well, it's almost a cooler grey undertone. It's nice to have a cooler white to complement that. And I'm just having a look here as well to see whether crisp white. Yes, you could also do that as well. So you could also use, you can see that there. So there's Salinger and then Taubmans crisp white. I think either one of those is going to look beautiful, and it's going to complement and offset your cladding really, really well. I hope that helps you. If you've got any more questions, or if you would like to know anything else about that, please just pop something else into the feed and I'll be happy to answer it for you. Okay, so what else do I have here? Okay. All right. What's in dark or light trims? Okay. That's a very good question. I guess you need to take into consideration the style of your home and what you want to achieve. So I'll be honest, we have seen a resurgence of darker trims, and it was certainly a thing of the 80s, but it's back in and it can look fantastic. So think about this. If you have a small space and you're wanting to create the illusion of more space, I wouldn't recommend using a darker trim. What I would recommend you do is that you use the same, if you're using, for example, let's just say you're using crisp white on the walls, I would recommend doing your trims and your doors, etc. in the same colour, but using the appropriate paint. And by using it, using the same colour, it's going to open up the space and help to create the illusion of more space. If you have a very large space and you're wanting to ground it, if you like, you can certainly do a darker trim, and that's going to frame up the wall color, and it's going to, I guess, create almost a focal point. If you have beautiful old period style home with lots of features, I think that the trims can look fabulous painted dark. I think it's very grandeur and it creates a beautiful statement. So I guess it just depends on the style of your home and what you're wanting to achieve. So dark trims, light trims, it's entirely up to you, and I think that both can work really well, but just take into consideration what you want to achieve and the style of your home. Okay, what sheen levels are popular for walls and for my doors? I'm about to paint our house and I'm not sure what to use. That is a really good question. So ultimately, there is a product fit for purpose or fit for your project. So depending on what you're doing will depend on what product you use. So for example, let's just start. If you're doing ceilings, we do them in a flat, and the reason being is to stop glancing light and basically to hide any imperfections. If you are doing walls, you can do them in, most people, the most popular sheen level for that is a low sheen. However, if you have, let's just say, for example, you are doing a period home and you're renovating or painting a period home, and you'll find that the walls are a little bit uneven, there's a few imperfections, I'd recommend using something like Taubmans Endure in a matte finish, because it's going to help to hide those imperfections. So that's covered the ceiling and the walls. Now, if you're doing doors and trims, it's entirely up to you, and it's very much a personal choice on the sheen level. I'll be honest, we probably seem to sell quite a lot of a semi-gloss finish, and it seems to be a very popular finish. And there's something to consider as well. If you're using a water-based enamel, the sheen level or the gloss level is slightly less than the old traditional oil-based enamel. So it depends on what you like. So for me, we've just been renovating our house and we have used a semi-gloss and in a water-based finish, and it just gives enough of a gloss, if you like, or a sheen on the doors and the trims. I think it looks fantastic. You can also, if you are doing or using, as I was saying before, a matte finish on your walls, you can also get the Taubmans water-based enamel in a low sheen, which is going to sit really well with your matte finish. Now, here's the thing. If you are wanting to paint a front door, I recommend using a gloss finish. And the reason being, if you're going to use a beautiful colour, using a gloss finish will enhance the colour, if you like. And so if you've been shopping our colour wall and you've been looking at colours and you can't make a decision and you're not sure how it's going to look like in a gloss finish, what I recommend you do is you grab yourself one of the colour chips, or even if you've got, you've bought yourself a sample pot, and generally most sample pots are in a low sheen, and you've brushed out some of your sample pot and you're wanting to see what it's going to look like in a gloss finish. Obviously wait until it's dry, but get yourself some clear sticky tape or clear packing tape, and just pop that over. If you're using a colour chip, just pop it over half of the colour chip, or if you've got a big piece of cardboard, just over the edge of the cardboard. And then as you move the colour chip or the piece of cardboard, you'll be able to see how the colour changes, and you'll be able to see how the colour has intensified by glossing it up, so to speak. So that's my little tip. And I think there's nothing nicer than perhaps, picking a beautiful hue for your front door and then glossing it up. And then again, when we talk about different sheen levels for the exterior of your home, it will depend on your substrates. So if you have a render finish, generally people like to see a render finished with a matte finish. So, your Taubmans or weather in a matte. Weatherboards, etc., and, the sky and cladding, that's a personal choice. Anything from a low sheen to a semi-gloss tends to be a preference. And then for trims, etc., people tend to use a gloss finish. Now also too, I'm just seeing here, I've had Krista come back. Thank you. Hi Krista, we're still here. So very happy for you to give me a little bit more information about your earlier question, and I'll certainly help to develop a beautiful colour palette for you. Also too, if you're painting ColourBond, or you've got ColourBond and you're wanting to emulate or replicate that sheen level, using sort of your all-weather in a semi-gloss finish is going to replicate that. Or if you've got a matte finish, using the all-weather in a matte is going to, again, replicate that ColourBond matte finish. Just something to be aware of when we're talking about sheen levels. Okay, what else do I have here? I hope that's covered it, because I know that heading into the Christmas period, and we've only got a couple more sessions after this, everybody's going to be doing a lot of paint projects. I know that we will be around our house, so it's really important to know what sheen level, but also what product. So I'm going to quickly, before we conclude our session, I'm going to take you back to my laptop. I'll pop myself up in the corner. Fantastic. So go back to, as we started the session, and I was talking about our website, www.taubmans.com.au, and look, you've got a world of colour at your fingertips here, but you also, from the products menu, you've got the drop down. So I was mentioning before, when we talk about painting, one of the questions that I was asked was, I'm just reading it off again, how many coats of colour do I need to achieve my white? So if you've got brand new Gyprock, I'll just take you. So something like Taubmans 3-in-1 is what you're going to want to use first. As you can see there, my mouse is hovering over that. It's going to fill all of the tiny pinholes, and it's going to create an even surface, allowing for an even distribution and, if you like, saturation of your broad wall paint. So that's your 3-in-1. And then if we go to interior paints, here's our wonderful Taubmans Endure. And our Taubmans Endure is available in, as I was saying before, a matte, a low sheen and a semi-gloss. And then also I'm going to take you to our doors and trims. I mentioned before, when you're painting your doors and trims, and we talked about whether you want dark or light trims, well, this is the product that you're going to want to use, which is our water-based enamel. The beauty of it is fast drying, it's very low VOC, it has been endorsed by Sensitive Choice, it has all of your inbuilt mold inhibitors, and it has no smell, and it's non-yellowing. So if you choose to go light and have white trims, I would recommend using a water-based enamel, because it will not yellow, and so your white is going to stay true to colour. And that's extremely important when you're doing an all-over white colour scheme, and if you're using the same colour white on your doors and trims as you are on the walls, the last thing that you want is your doors and your trims to discolour. You do not want to have a beautiful, clean, bright white and then having a yellow sort of looking tone. It's just not going to be conducive of a fabulous colour scheme, that's for sure. So that's what you want to be looking at, a water-based enamel. And so, as I said, this here is your drop-down menu that's going to take you to all of the products that you need, especially leading into our busy period where people are going to be doing all of those fantastic projects. So thank you, Krista, for coming back. And okay, so the house is brick, ColourBond roof, 30 years old, painting roof and all fascias, gutter, etc. So I'm presuming the brick is going to stay. So if you want to come back to me with just one more question, please. The tone of the brick, just so I know that what I'm going to be working with, so that I can draw from the tone of the brick and then help to create a colour palette for you. So just let me know if the brick stays and what colour the brick is, so that we know what we're working with, and then I can develop something for you. And once I finish on screen in a moment, I'll be behind the computer, so I'm happy to keep conversing with you and answer all of your questions. So I guess that brings us to the end of tonight's session. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. As I said before, we have a couple more sessions, so use them as an opportunity to find out anything that you want to find out before we go into our busy Christmas period. If you're embarking on a project and you'd like some information about our products, colours, etc., pop any questions into the feed or send us a private message, direct message, etc., and we'll certainly do our best to answer everything for you and help you to prepare for some wonderful paint projects over the busy period. Okay, so thank you everybody. Same time, same place next week. Look forward to seeing you all here. Until then, stay safe everybody, and as I always say, happy painting. Thanks very much. Good night.